Hey everyone, Sari here, and welcome back to another week of Astra Season offense matches. After last week's Morgan and Robin dominance, I decided I'd bring them both over to take a shot at Astra defenses. They held their own pretty well this week, using the same skill sets as before. Morgan's Refine is really powerful with the right support. Counting on his allies for sabotages lets him cripple his opponent's stats, giving him good matchups even against the weapon triangle. Attack speed unity isn't as reliable as it is during light seasons, but it's still a helpful boost to his offense stats, and covering him from stray debuffs is always a useful upside. Null Follow-Up lets him force a normal speed check into every fight, giving him a significant edge in combat. Panic Smoke is a useful tool for him as well, giving him a way to shut down any visible buffs the enemy team might try to use, and double down on his Bleaching effect in the bargain. Robin continues to be a powerhouse of a near-save bodyguard in his bonus weeks, even with the defense flaw. His base kit is really effective, though replacing Noontime with Bonfire gives him a lot more firepower to work with. Steady Breath gives him access to bonfire-fueled counterattacks on every counterattack, making it really hard for enemies to survive him. The mythics for this team are tailored to supporting the father-son duo, featuring the 3 different relevant sabotages to fully enable Morgan's weapon, and give Robin a significant edge as well. Having easy access to attack and res buffs and panic immunity from Ashura is very helpful, and it's easy to round out the buff spectrum with Reagan's speed defense link. Lumeria's guidance is also a great way to help the otherwise less than mobile Robin maneuver around the map. Morgan got to share the spotlight this week, though. I also used this as the chance to try out Ascended Fjorm, since Robin's bonus week gave us an excellent near-save candidate to pair with her. Fjorm's a really interesting variation on the usual save armor. Rather than stacking defensive stats, she relies on Ice Mirror to cover her middling defenses, while using her sky-high attack and speed to decimate her opponents. I decided to lean into that role, replacing her native steady posture with Kestrel Stance. The extra attack helps her secure knockouts, and she doesn't really miss the extra defense. The interaction between Ice Mirror and Hardy Fighter means that her defensive stats are a lot less valuable, making Mystic Boost a great way to reinforce her Berserker style. I'm considering other seals for options. Quick Riposte would help break through impacts, and Attack Speed Bond would help secure more one-shots, but so far the extra healing has just been really useful for her. Gatekeeper is an excellent, gatekeeper for Fjorm. His personal obstruct skill is a fantastic way to limit enemy mobility, especially from warp effects like Wings of Mercy or aerobatics. Fjorm also really appreciates the combat bonuses he provides. This set lets him give her 11 extra attack and speed, which lets her secure a lot of less than ideal matchups. The stats are useful for Robin too, making it a lot harder for some of the usually scary opponents to really threaten him. Now that we've gone over the teams, let's get to the first match. This match is going to be a fun way to start off the week. We've got a Katria Ball set up with some pretty heavy firepower on their squad to back her up, including this Brave Marianne, or she's not attack speed unity fodder, even if we've used her like that a couple of times. And Lysithea over here with a pre-charged Luna, thanks to their plus 10 infantry pulse Ninian. They've also got 3 mythics boosting their stats. With Ceros and Duma to bolster their attack, it really beefs up how hard Lysithea and Marianne can hit. And of course Mirabilis to add a second Denser to the mix and to make sure that this slight dense trap always goes off. I think this should actually be pretty straightforward, although we are going to need to take a bit more of an aggressive approach than usual to clear this. I'm going to take this first turn and rely on our safety fence to keep things inactive,
Why not?
while we start clearing out the front of this area a little bit.
Okay.
Morgan's going to move down here and open this up, and then we'll have Reagan flip Naga, and then move into the corner, and Naga will move over here. Nothing happens, which
Over
lets Reagan flip Morgan upwards, and then Kanto back.
What is
Naga
your desire?
can smite him forward onto the heavy trap, which is fake. I actually expected that to be the real one. Then we can just have Robin move up here, break this infantry school.
What's the plan?
And that enables Unity, which gives Morgan just enough damage to knock out Marianne. Or would if we didn't have a fortress advantage. They are using the wrong school right now, and they'll probably end up fixing that next week. Not next week, probably as soon as they realize it. And with Marianne down, we can have Plumeria move up here, dance Morgan, and let him one-shot Lysithea as well. And with both of the ranged threats off the table, and Morgan in a very good choke point on this defense tile, Robin should have no problems sweeping the rest of this map. Mirabilis moves in first. She has the least amount of health to lose between her, Catria, and Zeros.
Struggle if you must.
But it is a little bit of a waste of that triangle attack, since now none of the rest of their team is going to get a chance to use it. Zeros moves in, and gets
surprise, your dinner.
Very easily one-shotted thanks to effective damage, and, well, Robin actually beats her res check by quite a bit.
I will rend you asunder!
And Catria just doesn't stand a chance here. Duma's going to get danced and move in to attack as well, but a lot like Zeros, he's not going to have a good time with Robin here.
Your candy, now!
So, pretty clean enemy phase. At this point, we just want to pick up these pots before we finish the match, and sadly we are going to need to take a second turn to reach this one in the top right.
It will be done.
We're just, I think, one tile too far away to reach it this turn. It's unfortunate, but we've got plenty of time to work with, and as long as we stay out of range of minion for this turn, we'll be fine. She'll move forward onto the defense tile, but that's not really going to save her.
Yes.
Asher picks up this pot, and we can't quite finish her off in one round of combat with Morgan here. She's pretty bulky on a defense tile, and with the triangle advantage.
Checkmate.
But we do have plenty of actions left to finish her off, and she's not really going to get much done with Robin here anyway.
Sweet release.
And we'll just let him finish this off. That was a fun way to start the week. Let's see what we get next. This match is a little less exciting than the last one. It's just a freebie, honestly, with some in-season legendaries. Not including this Fjorm, sadly for them, and a couple of mythics to help mitigate lift loss. They're all boxed in, and Edelgard is boxed away from the rest of her team, and Hector's refined skill doesn't actually affect their infantry units, so it's not really a map that I'm expecting to have issues with. We should just be able to get things started right away and move on from there.
Yes.
We'll just smite Morgan over the mountain, let him open this up, move Robin over,
Close your
and then let Lumeria use guidance to let him move in and keep Morgan safe.
Yes.
We let Ashura
Over here?
and Reagan start moving over here to help pick up the pots later. Mira moves in and gets herself knocked out.
Your candy, now!
And while Fjorm does neutralize penalties, she's not actually attacking Morgan here.
Your candy, now!
and Robin doesn't really need those penalties to work well.
What's the
From
plan?
here, we'll just let Morgan open up this tactic room, move
Could be
Robin
worse.
forward a space, and have
I'll do
Lumeria
it.
dance forward
It will be
while
done.
we start getting ready to pick up these pots next turn.
I am the answer.
Yeah.
And we should be able to close out the match from there. Leaf moves in, but he's not really going to survive this.
Struggle if you must.
And, well, neither is Chris. Damage reduction or not.
I won't let you pass.
She does get the Moonbow now that Ostia's Pulse is working for her. But it's not enough to really stick.
Struggle if you must.
It's a bit of a shame I didn't get to see Hector's Mirror Fine, but I'm sure that'll start turning up now that he has both.
I
And
won't
then from
lose.
here we can just let Reagan pick up the first pot, move down,
There is
Asher
but
picks
one
up the second,
future.
Present my
and
prey.
we'll just let Robin
Why
move
not?
in and keep them all safe from Edelgard. Even though Raging Storm does give her a follow-up attack, it's not going to be enough for her to survive here.
Surprise, your dinner.
It's an easy, clean way to close out the match. This match is going to be a fun little debut for Fjorm. It's not the most threatening defense in the world, since they did box in two of their units far away from their actual threats. I think, honestly, having these two near their other units would probably help improve this a lot, since I do think Fjorm's a great far save unit, and Gustav has honestly been really solid since his release. And this Guinevere is honestly the reason I'm not using Morgan for this match, since a blue effective damage mage is not something he really wants to tangle with. It's also featuring a bonus week Odur, who I haven't seen as much of as I kind of expected. He's impressively bulky in his bonus week, and can hit really hard with this pre-charged Luna, especially with a Wings of Light Ceres boosting his stats. I think I'm going to be able to take care of this pretty quickly, or start it pretty quickly at least, since even though Odur should hit really hard, shouldn't quite be able to finish Robin off in one turn.
Reporting for duty.
So we're just going to move Gatekeeper forward and break Flower Bed.
Yes.
I'm going to move Ashura forward and break this school.
Why
And we're
not?
going to dance Ashura,
I am the
have her
answer.
flip Gatekeeper forward to start intercepting everything
Present
for
my
our saviors. Robin can swap Ashura down and get himself a full spectrum of buffs.
What is your desire?
Then Fjorm gets smited over and can use Guidance to do exactly the same thing. From here, I think Odur should actually move in first. We should be able to bait Sigurd by doing damage, or by virtue of him doing damage to Fjorm.
Quiet, scum!
This Brutal Shell should hit for a solid chunk of damage,
Struggle if you must.
but Robin should secure this one shot, and the healing puts him into a nice healthy state for the following attacks. Sigurd can also do a significant chunk of damage to Fjorm, at least before those ice mirrors go off, and then she just one-shots him for his trouble. Wolf is also going to get to do a chunk of damage before the ice mirrors go off, and then Fjorm's post-combat healing returns her all the way to full health. Robin won't quite make it all the way back to full health, but he'll get close enough.
Surprise, your dinner.
And Ceres goes down without any problems. And with most of their threats out of the way, all we need to do is start working our way towards these safe armors in the corner.
I am the answer.
We should be able to do that pretty quickly.
I'll do
We'll
it.
just dance Asher forward and use guidance
Yes.
to have Fjorm move in to save everybody from this
protect
Guinevere.
Could be worse.
Yes.
And then as they go. Even attacking Fjorm directly, we wouldn't be able to do anything, so not worried about her. And then
Reporting
from
for
here it's
duty.
just about making sure we let these armors out of their
I
corner,
am the answer.
Yes?
and let Robin handle them in
Present
the enemy
my
phase.
prey.
Close your eyes.
Sweet release.
It will be
I'm
done.
not expecting to have too many problems with them. You might be able to survive Robin for a turn, but that's about the extent of what they should be able to do.
Where to today?
I'm just going to plonk Gatekeeper right here,
There is but one
have Asher
future.
break this healing tower so that they can both
Present
attack
my
him,
prey.
even if one of them does survive,
Why not?
and then we'll sit and wait.
Lady Niffle.
Yes.
Fjorm goes in first, but kind of hilariously,
Surprise,
Robin
your
is
dinner.
fast enough to naturally double her here, thanks to all of the speed buffs he's getting from Gatekeeper. And while Gustav is going to block this first hit,
Struggle if you must.
it's not going to help him when Robin can just one-shot him twice. That was a fun one. Let's see what we get next. This match is going to be another fun one for Fjorm and Robin. While this defense doesn't really have any merges invested into it, that doesn't stop it from having a lot of very tricky units to handle properly. Most of their threat is tied up in this Brave Alm with his Refine and a legendary Claude who's in season, backed up by 3 different dancers, and a Duo Hilda. I don't really like having 3 dancers on a team. I do think it limits your threat options a lot, but the combination of Duo Peony's combat attack bonuses and potentially Hilda's combat attack bonuses as well can really catch people off guard if they're not careful about positioning and planning out where the enemy is going to end up moving. And this ruse on Sigurd can also do a lot of work, since I'm pretty sure this is a dance trap that dances Claude, followed by Alm rallying him, and then getting danced by Mirabilis. Well, that's how it's supposed to go. Having an even recovery can also really mess with people, since usually you expect odd recovery and safety fence lets you get past that. I'm going to be doing quite a few movement shenanigans to actually not use a safety fence and engage this on the first turn.
Present my
First
prey.
we're going to let Robin move up here. I'm not worried about giving him a full set of buffs from
There is
Ashura,
but
since
one
he's
future.
going to be hilariously tanking this Alm, and Alm still close means that he wouldn't have any visible buffs to work with anyway.
Close your eyes.
From here we're just going to dance Robin,
Sweet
who can then
release.
swap Plumeria up one space,
Reporting
letting
for
Gatekeeper
duty.
jump up here with guidance. Oh, that's not the real trap.
I am the answer.
Ashura, meanwhile, is going to flip Fjorm, who does want every
Yes?
single stat bonus she can get her hands on. And Fjorm can jump up and break this tactic rune for us,
What is
while
your
Naga
desire?
smites Ashura over to the right. Gatekeeper's position here is really great for us, since it shuts down all of their potential warp shenanigans. And while Alm does get to do a lot of damage to Robin here, he doesn't quite secure the one-shot, or even the speed check,
Surprise.
and
your
Robin
dinner.
can one-shot him on the counterattack. Claude moves in next, and while he can do a lot of visible damage to Fjorm, that gets cut down to a very manageable level thanks to Ice Mirror. and she's actually fast enough to outspeed him and punch through his fallen star. Sigurd moves in next, and can also do a significant amount of damage before Ice Mirror, and, well, gets one-shotted for his effort. Peony moves in and is actually not going to do anything except fully heal Fjorm. Hilda actually doesn't get to attack here since Gatekeeper stops her from moving through Mirabilis onto this forest tile. Overall, that turn went really well, and at this point we just want to make sure we do pick up both of these Aether Pots before we close out the match. We can't really just let Hilda attack us until the end of the match, since Fjorm's Nullsea Disrupt effect means that she's going to knock Hilda out here. What we can do, though, is just let Gatekeeper pick up this first pot, and then Robin can swap him back into position and stop anybody from really moving anywhere.
Yes.
And then we'll have Ashura move here
Why not?
and dance her,
I am the answer.
and move her over here to start getting ready to pick up the second pot on the following turn.
I'll protect you.
We can just move Fjorm down and Naga up, and say go. Hilda moves in first, since she can get some damage kinda done. Well, at least again before the ice mirrors go off. And Mirabilis attacks in next and continues healing Robin towards full health.
Struggle if you must.
And that leaves Cirrus pretty much stranded.
There is
And from
but
here we
one
can just
future.
let Ashura break this flower bed, which
I'll do
also
it.
lets Plumeria Aerobatics past her,
I am the
to
answer.
dance her forward and pick up this Aether Pot,
Where to today?
and then we'll just let Gatekeeper continue blocking Cirrus from moving anywhere
Present my
relevant,
prey.
and have Robin move in to save him, and close out the match like that. Cirrus can do a little bit of damage, since Robin doesn't have any buffs to work with here. But that's not enough to actually threaten Robin at all.
Your candy. Now.
And it ends up with a nice clean finish. This match should be a pretty straightforward one. It's not too often that I see a 6-unit setup, but they do have a bit of a scary squad here with a triangle attack enabled formation and a far safe Hector to try and keep them safe from hit and run attacks. It's a pretty straightforward setup, and it can still be pretty hard to break this if you don't bring something that can handle Hector, or just don't have anyone who can enemy phase their way through a Leaf and Selena, and potentially the Catria, Hector, and Duma on the side as well. With that said, I don't think Morgan and Robin are going to really have any problems here. They should be able to clean things up pretty easily, and we'll be able to move on without any problems. I'm going
What's the
to
plan?
start just by testing these bolt traps, and moving Robin down here means that
Yes.
Ashura can move up and test this for us. And that's the real one. Perfect.
What is your desire?
That means we can
Present my
start
prey.
having everybody else move
I'll
in
do it.
Okay.
and clean up the remaining structures on the front line.
Yes.
We'll
I
just
won't
let
lose.
Reagan break this, which lets her canto all the way into here, and would have let her test the second bolt trap. We do want to make sure we pick both of these pots up before we start the fight, since I'm pretty sure we're going to end this in a single turn once we bait them out. So I'm going to let Morgan flip Ashura this way,
There is but
and have
one
her
future.
open up this tactic room, which
Over
lets
here?
Reagan pick up the first pot, and then back out.
Close your
Then we'll
eyes.
just have Plumeria move up here, dance Morgan,
What's the plan?
and let him flip Ashura back to safety.
Sweet release.
And we should be able to get
Yes.
things started next turn.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Here, we're just going to complete our buff spectrum by flipping Morgan forward.
What
We're
is
going
your
to
desire?
shove Ashura over to the side to
Why not?
give Plumeria space to dance Reagan,
Yeah.
who can then flip Robin forward as well.
Sweet
Robin will
release.
move over and keep Morgan safe from the melee.
Yes.
Ashura can pull Reagan back, and
Okay.
Morgan can pick up the second pot, and we'll start the enemy phase. Leaf can do a little bit of damage here, but it's not going to be enough to put Morgan in any real danger. And well, from there, Mirabilis is the next one on the hit point chain, since nobody's going to really do damage to Robin. And Selena can't actually
Your
reach Morgan
candy.
yet.
Now.
Which means Doom attacks next.
Struggle if you must.
And gets himself one-shotted. Then Katria moves in, and at this point they are out of triangle attack options,
Your candy. Now.
which makes the remaining units much easier to handle for both Morgan and Robin. Hector's special fighter almost keeps him from getting one-fired, but
Your candy.
Robin
Now.
has enough speed to just double him through the fallout prevention. And well, the isolated Selena isn't getting much done, except healing Morgan back to full
You
health
won't win like
for
that.
the end of the match. That was a fun one. Let's see what we get next. This match is going to be a fun little rematch. They ended up beating my defense with the help of a Fjorm, and so I was kind of hoping to be able to return the favor. They have a pretty intimidating setup here with a dense trap involving this rally on Duo Lif and the Duo Sigurd over here, along with the odd recovery on Laura Shaw that ends up having Sigurd dancing Hector, then being rallied by Lif, who gets danced by Mirabilis, and well, at that point they're hoping to find a kill between Laura Shaw and Sigurd and Lif. They also have two save armors between Edelgard on the near save side and Hector on the far save side, which makes it a bit difficult to hit and run this team safely, especially with the placement of these traps. If you don't have a disarm trap unit, these bolt traps are honestly really annoying to navigate around, and the heavy traps behind them make it hard to really get any dancers to work properly. I don't think I'm going to have too many problems picking this apart, mostly just because, well, as odd as it sounds to say that Fjorm should have an easy time tanking a Triangle Adept Duo Sigurd and a Duo Lif, she shouldn't have a hard time
There is
doing
but
that.
one future.
We're just going to use the safety fence to dodge their turn 1
I'll
and
protect
take the
you.
time to open things up on this side.
I'll do it.
I am the answer.
While we
Sweet
just move
release.
everybody over
Where to today?
and get ready to start the
It
match
will be
next turn.
done.
From here, we can
What is your
just
desire?
smite Gatekeeper forward to start testing the heavy traps. Right,
Greetings.
this one is real, that's fine.
Lady
We'll
Missile.
just swap Ashura to give Fjorm a full set of buffs. I don't think she's going to need them, but
Why
it's
not?
better safe than sorry. Not like we really shouldn't need
Could be
Robin
worse.
to
Yes.
be in this save range right now, but hey, having a nice formation always helps just in case. From here, I think Sigurd's going to attack first, since he can do the most damage to Fjorm. But even though the number looks intimidating at the start, it gets cut down to a much more manageable level, and, well, she's not going to have any problems one-shotting him after that. Leaf moves in next, and he never actually gets his attack defense solo active, and since Sigurd attacks first, his catch is also offline, so he really doesn't get to do much to Fjorm, and she can take him down too. And all our shell does is heal Fjorm back towards full health. And then Mirabilis finally gets to dance Hector, but at this point it's too late to really get anything else done. Now that we've handled all of their ranged threats and we're just left with the melee to worry about, things are a lot simpler and we can start trying to work our way towards these ether pots. I'm going to let Fjorm just move back to her original corner and
Could be worse.
let Robin handle things from here.
There is but
Asher's
one
going to move
future.
up and break this healing tower while
Close
we
your eyes.
dance Robin
Present my
and
prey.
continue having him swap people around and save Gatekeeper from, it should be, Seros, Edelgard, and Hector.
Yes.
And then we'll move Naga down here and say go. Hector moves in first, and, well, Robin's not going to have any problems with this enemy phase.
Surprise, your dinner.
Gatekeeper also has the helpful side effect of shutting down not Plumeria, Mirabilis' Warp
Surprise,
from aerobatics,
your dinner.
which makes sure that we are not going to knock her out this turn, and give us enough time to reach these ether pots. Oh. And Seros can do some damage, at least, but it's not going to stick.
Surprise, your dinner.
And that's the rest of their major threats. And now, it's just a matter of making sure we stall things out while we reach these ether pots.
Where
Gatekeeper
to
should
today?
actually be a great way to do
I am
that,
the
since
answer.
he can't counterattack Mirabilis. And as long as we keep him away from Robin
be
while
worse.
keeping everyone else in Robin's range,
Reporting for duty.
he should be able to make sure that she just doesn't move anywhere until we're ready to finish her off.
Sweet release.
And then we can have Robin move forward, give
I'll do
Plumeria
it.
an aerobatics buff to start moving forward as well,
There is but one future.
and he'll keep both Ashura and Plumeria safe, while Gatekeeper baits everybody else out.
Yes?
What is your desire?
I say everybody else, it's really just Mirabilis. And then from here we can just step forward and pick up both pots,
Yes.
Why not?
and then we'll dance Ashura,
I am the
who can
answer.
step over to the left,
Present
and
my
let
prey.
Robin jump forward to swap her, and close out the match. Oh. Nice and clean.
Struggle if you must.
Let's see what we get next. This match is going to be a fun little rematch. They had this plus 10 Doom as their lead unit, which had me interested since they brought a pretty merged up team to my defense as well. They're using one of these 7th unit corridor traps with a also plus 10 Seros as their second mythic, using a Brave Eirika as their 7th unit dense point, with a Duo Sigurd, who can run forward and dance her to start things off. They also have a backup with Peony, who's using aerobatics, though I'm pretty sure they've set it up so that Sigurd moves first, which would let this Duo Lif, or Harmonic Leaf, run forward to rally him and ruse everything that's in these two columns in the middle. Before Peony dances Leaf, and then everything goes sideways for whoever's trying to tank it in this area. It's a pretty spooky trap, especially since this almost maxed out Brave Hector is just waiting here to prevent any hit and run attempts from stray Yuris or Linjas. But with that said, I think I've figured out a pretty straightforward way to handle this. Although, it is a bit degenerate, I guess, in a way, to use a full save ball. But on the other hand, I think I'm going to feel too bad about it, since, well, they had a very wailed
Could
out
be
team
worse.
coming to visit my defense. We're going to take advantage of our unsniped safety fence, Doom doesn't quite reach it,
I am the
to
answer.
open things up on this right side,
Why not?
which will let us tank things up
Yes?
on the following turn.
Reporting for duty.
Yes.
We'll have Naga move up this way, and she'll be able to reach this ether pod on the left for us. At least once the threats are all dealt with. And
Where to
here, we're
today?
just going to walk Gatekeeper
I'll
forward
do it.
and dance him before planting his feet right here.
I'll protect you.
Fjorm is going to swap Ashura, who can take a
Yes.
step down,
Present
and
my
let Robin
prey.
swap Plumeria. This keeps Gatekeeper as our choke point for their team, and while I'm not entirely sure how this turn's going to play out, I think that we should knock out Sigurd, Peony, Leaf, and Sarah's here. What might happen is that Leaf actually just rallies Peony before anything else happens, and then gets danced. But we'll see. If I'm right, the first thing that should happen here is that Sigurd moves in and attacks. Nope, okay, so they didn't do the rally. Sigurd moves in to attack next,
Yeah.
and Fjorm just handles him without any issues. Ceros is the only one who can attack now, since Gatekeeper's really limiting all of their movement options. And while she can do a bit of damage to Robin, it's not actually enough to out-heal his bonfire,
Candy. Now.
or out-damage his bonfire. And then Leaf moves in, and while his miracle does keep him alive through the first counterattack, Fjorm actually outspeeds him by a solid chunk, and he's not going to survive after that. While it is a bit unfortunate that Peony survived that turn, it isn't really going to complicate things too much. All it's really going to mean is that Robin takes a little bit more damage when he tanks this Eirika, but he still has enough bulk to survive that.
Where to today?
So we're just going to move Gatekeeper down a tile,
Lady
move
Nipple.
Fjorm down a tile,
There is but
and then we're
one
going
future.
to move Ashura
Close
slowly
your
forward,
eyes.
Yes.
and let
Present
Robin
my
get
prey.
himself a full set of buffs from her. And then Naga can wait another turn to pick up the pot. Eirika will move in first here, but even though she does hit pretty hard, she can't survive this counterattack,
Struggle if you must.
which means that Robin survives the fight with most of his health. Or almost most of his health. And, well, Peony attacking in here is just never going to get anything done. Except he'll Fjorm all the way to full health. And with those two out of the way, the only real objective left is to pick these pots up before we close things out.
What
We
is
should be
your
able to do
desire?
that. Now that Peony isn't threatening this tile, Naga can move forward and
I
pick
am
this
the
pot
answer.
up, and then we can have Ashura flip Plumeria
not?
forward to pick up the second one, while
Sweet
Robin
relief.
swaps Ashura for a little bit more defense, and then we just let him handle the rest of this. Duma can get some damage done, but it's not enough to actually finish Robin off, and Robin doesn't have any issues actually winning that fight.
Surprise, your dinner.
And Hector, well, when he's attacking into a damaged target, his entire weapon's offline, and he's really not a threat.
Struggle if you must.
Was a satisfying one. This rematch is going to be another fun one at the end of the week. Like the last one, they've got a plus 10 Duma as their lead unit. They have a very different squad of threats to deal with, starting with this plus 10 Summer Mia, and a plus 10 Summer Lilina, and a plus 10 Reinhardt, and a pretty rarely seen +10 Silk. It's been a while since I've actually run into a Cav line, and this one is very impressively invested. Even with Farsave, it's hard to find a unit that can actually tank their way through all of this safely, since the combination of Broadleaf from Lilina and the damage reduction and speed tanking from Mia, plus Reinhardt just being his reliable self, is a lot for any one unit to handle. They also went pretty hard on the first turn attempt with Silk having odd recovery and an odd res wave, which seems a bit odd. I would have expected an attack one, and an attack wave on Mia. And then backing all of that up, they've got their Duma with Wings of Mercy, a Saros who's also got Wings of Mercy, and Wings of Light to help Duma hit even harder if he gets to find a target, and a +10 Mirabilis to act as the team's dancer and enabler. The level 8 shrines in the back and this maxed out Panic Manor in the middle make it pretty easy to enable Lilina's Broadleaf fan, as well as, well, just Summer Mia applying dagger debuffs on top, and can make it very hard to tank this, which of course is what we're planning to do here. I think we should be able to handle this with Fjorm. I'm going to spend the first turn just clearing some stuff out and using this safety fence to buy us some time, which also lets Gatekeeper get smited forward to test this bolt trap. It's fake, that's fine. He can move back and continue opening up this front area, while Plumeria is going to dance Ashra from here, letting her move over 2 spaces, while Robin swaps Plumeria
I'll protect you.
and lets Fjorm do the same thing. And nothing happens. And here, we don't actually need to really worry about Fjorm's speed, defense, and res buffs, since all of the relevant threats have lulls for those stats, so as long as she's getting the attack from Ashra's C skill, we're alright with that.
Yes.
We're also going to have Ashra flip Gatekeeper forward, and then move him here to break this Panic Manor. And this position actually lets his Obstruct skill really shine, since he stops any of the cavalry from being able to reach these spaces in the corner, while also shutting down all of the Wings of Mercy and Aerobatics potential that their team has.
Why not?
Here, we'll just dance Ashra and move her back down
There
here,
is but one future.
Yes.
while we move Naga over 1 space and
Present
let
my prey.
Robin jump down here. And then we'll say go.
I'll protect you.
The first thing that should happen here is that Lilina will step forward to attack, and while she has an impressive visible damage available, it gets mitigated pretty heavily by the ice mirrors, and Fjorm just uses that to one-shot her. And while Mia is very spooky, without guaranteed follow-ups on the enemy team, Fjorm's still fast enough to get through that and double her anyway. And, well, Silk at the end here just heals us, honestly. And after that, nothing else can reach us. Now that the Stampede's over, we really just need to make sure we handle Reinhardt carefully before being able to close the map out at our leisure.
Lady Niffle.
And we're going to take advantage of guidance and swap some more here by
Could
swapping
be worse.
Plumeria forward, which lets Robin swap Gatekeeper and get himself into position.
Where to today?
Gatekeeper can then move over here and start opening up those structures on the side,
Close your eyes.
while Plumeria dances Fjorm
I'll
and
protect
lets her
you.
jump forward to protect everybody from Reinhardt.
Yes.
And then Ashra can move forward, continue opening things up,
What is your desire?
and we'll say go. Reinhardt can do some damage since he does get a brave attack, but having a triangle disadvantage really hurts him here, and he doesn't end up getting any damage to stick. And, well, Mirabilis is never having a good time with Robin, +10 or no.
Struggle if you must.
down she goes. And, well, Wings of Mercy doesn't really do the mythics any good, since they wouldn't be able to use it thanks to
Reporting for
Gatekeeper
duty.
anyway. And then from here it becomes pretty easy to just continue marching forward,
I'll do it.
I am
pick
the
up one
answer.
Aether Pot, pick up
Reporting
another
for
Aether
duty.
Pot,
Yes?
and then we'll do just one more round of swap shenanigans
Could be
to
worse.
let Robin move in behind Gatekeeper and protect everyone from the melee. Yep. Sarah's attacks, but there's not much she can do at this point.
I will rend you asunder.
And then without the Wings of Light boost, it's not like Duma can really accomplish much either. Well, even with it, you wouldn't survive this.
I will rend you asunder.
It's a nice clean way to finish the week. It was another fun week overall. It's good to let Morgan and Robin play around with some nonsense again, and it was also good to see Fjorm make her debut outside of her bonus week, which gives me a good idea of how well she might perform even outside of it going forward, since I do plan to use her quite a bit. It will be fun to see how well she does over the next couple of weeks, since, well, she's already done a very good job handling some spicy stuff, and the extra stats will only make that even better for her. I do have a Discord server, there's a link in the description if you'd like to hang out and chat, and I also have a Patreon page there if you'd like to help support the channel. As always, I hope you've enjoyed the video, good luck with your own matches, and I'll see you next time.